How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Zim's Beer Review. Welcome to episode number 31. Today we have another beer. It's a newer beer available in cans from a brewery that we have already reviewed. If you obviously have seen the title of the video and podcast, we are reviewing another Blacktooth Brewing Company beer. Blacktooth Brewing is out of Sheridan, Wyoming. They're just like maybe 2 hours north of where I'm from here. I love their beers. They are a really new brewery. We'll get into that a little bit, but overall they're pretty new. I mean, in the grand scheme of breweries out there, they are definitely a younger brewery, but they make some of the best beer I've ever had, and it's not just because they're from Wyoming. They make legitimately good beer, and the one we're trying today is one of those. I had this for the first time maybe a couple weeks ago at a restaurant. It was on draft, and then I found out shortly after that they were going to be releasing this beer in cans just in time for St. Patrick's Day. So this beer just came out in cans as of St. Patrick's Day 2018. So like 2 weeks ago, something like that. Really new into cans. The one we're reviewing today is called Copper Mule. So Copper Mule is the play on a Moscow Mule. If you've had those before, a Moscow Mule is generally, it's ginger beer and some vodka and lime, and you can flavor it however you'd like. That's kind of the basics of what a Moscow Mule is, and you have to drink a Moscow Mule out of a, drawing a blank here, copper mug. Yeah, duh, Copper Mule, copper mug. So we're actually going to drink this beer out of a copper mug. I will pour a little bit into a glass so that we can see the color, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to do the Copper Mule in a copper mug like it's a Moscow Mule. I don't have ice in here because it's a beer. Why would we do that? I have had this beer before, so it's not a brand new review to me, but it's a really good beer, and we'll get into it. It's delicious. So, but I do like Moscow Mules. Okay, we're going to go ahead and open this up. We have the Blacktooth Brewing Company's Copper Mule in a can, available in 6-pack cans as of just a couple weeks ago. Okay, so let's pour a little bit into a cup here just to get some color for you. Okay, so right off the bat, this is super light, really light in color, almost like a Pilsner look to it, like a light beer in color, slightly yellow. Looks very, I don't want to say watered down, but that's kind of the appearance it has. A lot of light can get through this. Has a little bit of a head. Really compact bubbles is actually sitting on there pretty nicely. And I'm going to pour the rest of this into my copper mug for the review. I don't know how this is going to taste. I don't know if it's going to make it different or if it will do anything at all. I don't know. And as always, we are live streaming this on YouTube. If you are available to watch the video live, please tune in. I have the chat open. If you want to chat with me, I'm available. So send in any messages you have. Comments will show up right away to me, and we can communicate back and forth a little bit. So that's kind of something fun that I'm trying to introduce and keep on. So let's get into this. So when I smell it, the first scent I'm getting on this is lime. Right away, I'm getting lime. They call this the Copper Mule, but it is specifically a ginger lime cream ale. So it's a basic cream ale with ginger and lime flavoring added. I don't know how they did that, at what point in the brew process they did that. I might have to try and get in touch with Blacktooth and learn a little bit more about their brewing process of this beer and how they got those flavors into it. But basically, it's a cream ale that's been flavored with ginger and lime to give it that Moscow Mule taste. That's kind of what they're going for. So like I said, a Moscow Mule has ginger beer. This has ginger. The cream ale is just like a really good, easy drinking, light beer. It bodes well to take flavors in. Cream ale is really smooth. It doesn't have a whole lot of punch to it on its own, so that the other flavors that they add to it are going to pop more because they're not competing with the beer flavor itself. So the first smell I'm getting on this is a lot of lime. A little bit of ginger maybe, kind of smells slightly spicy, but that's kind of all I'm smelling. On the taste, we'll try this. So the smell and the taste are almost backwards. I smell a lot of lime and I smell a little bit of ginger, but I taste a lot of ginger and only taste a little bit of lime. So it's kind of backwards. The first flavor that I get is that ginger bite. Right off the bat, it tastes like you're eating ginger. It has that slight ginger beer flavor to it without the kick that you expect from a actual ginger beer, because it's been paired with a cream ale. It's actually really smooth. A really smooth, easy drinking beer. They say right on the side of this, I'll read you their little blurb about Copper Mule. It says, the world of craft beer is a long, extensive trail with impressive variety, so we crafted you a brew to enjoy along the ride. Copper Mule's fresh ginger will kick you in the nose while the lime delicately caresses your palate to create the perfect daily drinker. It also says no copper mug required, but I didn't listen. So anyways, yeah, the first flavor I'm getting is a lot of ginger. It's like it is well balanced between the ginger and the lime. The cream ale, like I said, I feel like the cream ale is kind of just the vessel to get you those flavors. It is a smooth drinking beer like you expect from a cream ale, but the cream ale itself doesn't have a lot to add to it other than it just being smooth. The flavor really is the ginger and the lime. This is one of my favorite beers. Not one of my favorite beers from Blacktooth, but one of my favorite beers in general. This is an extremely easy drinking beer. They go down far too easily, kind of like a Moscow Mule does. The alcohol percent on this is 4.9, so mid-range, maybe slightly lower than usual. Cream ales usually are. Like I said, you can see right from the color, this is a really light beer. You're not going to get this at a restaurant in draft and expect a lot of alcohol flavor or bite. It's just a lighter beer. That's just how it is. So that's expected. Overall, the lime holds its own right against the ginger really well. It's an extremely well balanced beer. Like I said, one of my absolute favorites. It just drinks so easily. It's kind of funny though, because technically this is one of their seasonal beers. This is not one that they have all year, but I don't know what season we'll call it. Is it spring? Because when I drink this beer, I easily can see myself drinking this in the middle of the summer on a hot day, in the backyard. It's like the perfect beer for that. It's light, it has a lot of flavor, has that lime, something you'd like on a hot summer day. But it also somehow still tastes like it belongs in the colder winter months. It's kind of odd. I hope that they make this beer year round. I hope that they change this from a seasonal to a year round staple. I think it's delicious. I think a lot of people like this beer. There was a big enough push from, I believe, their fans to get this from draft only to 6-pack cans, and they did it in time for St. Patrick's Day. So I know people like this stuff, and I can see why. So we'll tell you a little bit more about Blacktooth Brewing Company themselves. This is actually the second beer that I reviewed from Blacktooth. The first one, I don't know the episode number, but I believe it was the Bomber Mountain Amber from Blacktooth. It was quite a few episodes ago, but if you are interested in Blacktooth, I encourage you to go watch that review or download that podcast. There's some good information in there about Blacktooth Brewing. I will try and just expand on it slightly. So yeah, if you want to know more about them, I encourage you to go watch or listen to the other review. There's going to be information in there too. although some of it will be doubled in both. So anyways, we'll just get right into it. So Blacktooth Brewing, like I said, they're from Sheridan, Wyoming. Sheridan, Wyoming is only a couple hours north of where I am here in Casper, and they were actually started in 2010. They're a pretty darn new brewery. That is actually really new. We reviewed a beer a couple episodes back that started in the 1600s. We're talking about a company that started 8 years ago, and barely 8 years ago. That's kind of nuts. So when they started, they actually only had a 10-barrel brew house, really small. I think the owner, brewmaster's name's Travis. I can't remember his last name off the top of my head right now, but it's on their website. Anyways, so he started it up with only a 10-barrel brew house, super small, and that was in 2010. So that's in 2010. By 2015, they opened up a multi-million-dollar 50,000-barrel-a-year brew house. So in a matter of 5 years, they went from 10 barrels to 50,000 barrels a year. That is insane. And it just goes to show how good their beer is. You're not going to be able to dump that kind of money into expansion if people don't love your product. And the people of Wyoming, I think, really enjoy Blacktooth beer. And I think it's slowly expanding and the word's getting out about how good this stuff really is. Being small, they only have a limited range of beers. They have 4 beers that are available year-round. They have an amber, which we tried, the Bomber Mountain Amber. They have a blonde. They have the Copper Mule that we're trying today. And they have, where is it at? Oh, sorry. I jumped to the wrong line there. They have the amber, the Bomber Mountain Amber. They have Blacktooth Brown. I think it's called Saddle Bronc. It's their brown ale. Everyone just calls it Blacktooth Brown. It's by far their most popular beer. It is a really good brown ale. I think I'll probably do a review on that sometime in the future because that is another one of my favorite beers of theirs. And then they also have a wheat beer that is available year-round. In addition to those 4 beers, they have 4 seasonal beers. So in their seasonal releases, they have the blonde. They have the Copper Mule, which we're reviewing today. Now we're on track. They have what's called the Cowboy Joe. The Cowboy Joe is a coffee stout, I believe. And then they have an Oktoberfest. So 4 beers available year-round. 4 beers available on a seasonal schedule. And then they also have a number, I think about 10 limited release beers. And those range from Pilsners to barrel-aged beers. They have a ton of one-off limited edition things that they do. I haven't had the opportunity of trying any of those limited edition ones. I would like to. And I would like to just try their whole list of beers here. I've had their amber and their brown and their Copper Mule, and I think I might have had the blonde last summer, but I think that might be it. But the ones I've had of theirs, all of them are delicious. Some of my favorite beer. If I go to a bar and they have Blacktooth Brewing Company on tap, I almost always order a pint glass of whatever they have. So can't say enough good things about Blacktooth. Really, really delicious beer. The beer we're reviewing today, the Copper Mule, no different. Really good ginger flavor, really good lime flavor, super well balanced. Putting it in a cream ale was the perfect mix. It goes together super well. And this is one of my favorite beers now, not just of theirs, but of any brewery anywhere. This is really good, and I'm hoping that they keep this around beyond just a seasonal release. I'm hoping that this is at least available through the summer, but I guess we'll see. So anyways, if you want to know more, I'm going to put their website in the description of this video and podcast. It is btbrew.com. You can get a whole bunch of information there, the location of their brew house and tap room. You can get a list of all their beers, where they're available, contact information. Check out their website if you want to know more. And as always, happy drinking.